Hello, hello. Welcome to another edition of the Brooklyn Baby Podcast with me, your host, Charlene Sapp. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful, productive, blessed week. I know that I did. And our topic today is going to be on the subject of health is wealth. So let's get into it. Health is wealth. I'm just going to just talk off the dome, off the top of my head. Usually 9 times out of 10 when I do my podcast, I really don't have a script or note cards. I just speak from my heart, what's on my mind, whatever topic we're talking about for the week. Health is wealth. Well, first and foremost, not to tell anyone what to do, but just make sure that you get yearly checkups and physicals and blood work done. I know I told myself with my first job, I was working in advertising, cool job. All I had to do was watch TV for a living. It was the best job right outside of college, right after college. And I would actually go to ABC, NBC, Rockefeller Center, CBS, and then we had an in-house location. It was right on the Midtown Manhattan, around West 41st Street and Lexington Avenue, and it was the best job outside of college. And we had a in-house. If we were like screening like shows for the WB or CW or Fox, we would actually screen the shows in-house. They would send us the tapes by courier. And basically, this job, I just had to watch TV and let the major advertisers know, like McCann Erickson, Saatchi, Johnson & Johnson, Ford, all the car manufacturers, foods, health products, just about anything you see on TV was our client. They cornered the market with this. Anyway, just had to watch TV. In my department, I was a screener, a network screener. And I just had to let advertisers know if there was anything in the content of the program that conflicted with their advertising product. And I would actually have to have discussions with them to let them know if they had to move a unit out of a show or move a unit in another break of a show to get away. So let's say, for example, I was watching an episode of ER, and let's say there was the death of an infanticide. And let's say Johnson & Johnson had a baby product commercial. Well, that advertiser, Johnson & Johnson, would probably want to pull out of that unit, the show. Or if there was a problematic area in the show, a client and I would talk, and maybe they would move their product away from the problem commercial break from the show. So let's say I was screening the show and there was a car accident. Depending on how major or minor that car accident was in the show, maybe if I had Mercedes, Ford running a commercial, they would probably pull out of the show or move their commercial away from the problematic area of the show that would conflict with their interests. And I used to screen Saturday Night Live dress rehearsals. They had me in a little booth in Rockefeller Center. I would screen the dress rehearsal, and then the show would air. After that dress rehearsal that they had, that I was screening from a private room through a live feed, and I would let advertisers know before the show aired if it was okay to air their product or advertise their products, if there was any conflict or controversial content in the show. So I had to help them make those decisions, and then they would actually do the actual show again and do the actual version of the show that actually went live for the public at 11:30 that night. But I would pre-screen the show earlier that evening at Rockefeller Center. So it was a cool job. So my point of saying that is to say, I kind of went on a tangent, as I always do. But my point of saying that is to say, as soon as I had that job, it was my first big job outside of college. When I finished, I said, look, I'm going to do like my parents. Go to the doctor, be on top of my medical, dental, everything, because you don't want something to happen if you weren't annual pelvic exams, everything as a woman. You just want to stay on top of your health before your health gets on top of you. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to preach to anyone, But health is wealth. And I know just, seeing the way my parents move throughout my life. And I guess because I know they were also in the healthcare field. My mother was an executive for the New York City Department of Health, downtown Brooklyn, and my dad was in charge of a blood bank at a large Jewish hospital in Brooklyn where I was born. Um, I don't know if that's the reason why they always didn't play with their health, or just observing the mishaps of others, or it could be a culmination of different things. But my point is, I said to myself, as soon as I finished college, I said, you know what, going forward, as soon as I get a job, and they did stress to me the importance of making sure you have health care, dental care, XYZ, and get your checkups, get your physicals. And when I finished college in my early 20s, I never missed a beat. Um, and I don't play around with my health as far as getting checkups. So I encourage everyone, if you don't do that, please do that. Make sure you get yearly physicals, male and female. Have your general practitioner do blood work. You want to make sure all your levels, potassium, cholesterol, everything should check out. And I know I have the best doctor in Raleigh, the best. And I think I've been blessed and fortunate. I feel like all my general practitioners have been great throughout my whole life. But something about, and my cousin Michelle, she was my general practitioner too. Before she relocated, she was in the area. She and my current doctor, they were the best. They are the best. My cousin Michelle, Dr. Michelle A, she's a general practitioner. And I actually wanted to support her business as a doctor and a female and African American doctor. So I was my cousin on my dad's side of the family, Michelle. She was my doctor. I was her client. She was like the best. And the current doctor I have right now in Raleigh, he's been my physician for my general practitioner. Right after Michelle relocated to another area and closed down her business, her practice, and opened up her practice somewhere else. That's when I acquired my current general practitioner. I would say that was about 15 years ago. Yeah. So you want doctors who you like. You want doctors who hear your concerns, who show great bedside manner, metaphorically speaking, who are thorough, who seem to care, who you vibe with, who you gel with. There's a lot of levels to that. And let me knock on wood, I'm just happy with my whole team. When I say team, because I have my OBGYN, adore him too. I make sure I get my mammograms. I make sure I'm now 53, so as soon as I hit the appropriate age, I was getting my colonoscopies. Well, I only had one so far, but because that one came out well, I don't have to go back for another 10 years. Vision, make sure you go to the dentist, get your dental cleanings. You don't want cavities, because I didn't realize that until I became more knowledgeable, that if you have rotten teeth or health or dental issues, it can affect other parts of your body, like your heart. Or if you have a cavity that's untreated, it can like cause problem and toxins going into your body and affect your brain. And it can kill you. So there's levels to everything. There's levels. And I'm just gonna say this, I know my weight goes up and down. There's never been a time where I felt like that wasn't an issue. My weight goes up and down. And I think I've said this before. In my closet, I have like clothing that ranges from about 3 different sizes. 3 different sizes in order. And because sometimes my weight goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. But my personal goal at this point is just to get it stabilized and just keep it down. Because the older I get, it's getting harder and harder to lose weight. It's getting harder and harder to do this, do that. And then, nobody wants to be on medication. If you can just like exercise and limit your time at the table and the intake of food, and that can get you off a certain medication, do it. Because the one thing I realize you don't want to have happen is you stay on some kind of medication that if you made, I mean, there's some people who have certain health issues that they can't help. They have to be on certain medications no matter what they do. That's just what their cards that they were dealt. But there are things like, in a lot of cases, cholesterol, high blood pressure, other health issues that with the proper diet and exercise, we can get off those medications. So because we realize, or I realize, that certain medications can have ill effects if it doesn't catch you currently or in the near future. It can catch you later on. Like my mother, for example, she's a prime example. She had a health issue since the day I was born. It was a mental health issue. A lot of people don't know about it, but I'm just going to just tell my truth to the world. Yeah, my mother, they didn't realize that until I was born at the same hospital where my dad worked. When she gave birth to me in 1971, she went from the maternity ward to the psych ward, and no one knew at that point. They thought it was just postpartum, whatever, and that's why my parents never had any other children after they had me. That's why I'm my dad's only child. But my mom had my sister from a previous relationship, and she met my dad through my aunt, who was a nurse when my sister was 2. So my dad raised my sister, who's 10 years older than me, like she was his own. Anyway, so that's why I'm my dad's only child, because the doctors told my dad, well, if we get her out this time, we might not be able to bring her back. So with that being said, she was put on different medications and found great doctors. She had a great psychiatrist right by my private school where I attended, Packer Collegiate Institute, in Brooklyn Heights section of Brooklyn, right near Dumbo. And he was a great Brooklyn Heights, great doctor in general. And that was her physician. Her job at the New York City Department of Health. She was an executive. They would work it out where she can take her monthly appointments and see her physician. Sometimes she had to see him more frequently. Sometimes if there was like a crisis going on with her, sometimes she might see him once a week, or sometimes twice a week, or sometimes once every 2 weeks. But generally speaking, she saw her physician. If everything was copacetic and chill with her mentals, see him once a week. Anyway, so he kept her out of the psych ward for a long time, and he put her on something called lithium. Now we know now that lithium is not good for your health, and that's the reason why she had health issues that caught up with her physically once she became an elderly person. So even though she was out the psych ward for a long time, for decades off and on, as she became an elderly person, her physician started noticing that her kidneys were not functioning properly, and it was attributed to years ago, decades ago, when she took lithium to help for her mental health issues. So yeah, so it caught up with her when she was like in her the doctor started noticing issues with her kidneys, like I would say her late 60s, early 70s, and they monitored, but then even though she was off of lithium for decades prior, the damage was already done. It's unfortunate because if it wasn't for that, my mother would still be here. So if you had a crystal ball and know what we know now, yes, we would not want her on lithium, but back in the 70s and 80s, I don't know what other psych medicine for her condition would have kept her out of the hospital. So I don't know. I don't know if there were other medications she could have taken. So yeah, that's her reality, and that's unfortunate because if it wasn't for the kidney failures and other things that came with taking lithium, she would still be here. She would still be here because her, death certificate indicated that it was the renal failure, kidney issues that ended up causing her death. Yeah, so. But there are things that we could do. There are people who abuse their health, unfortunately, with drugs and too much alcohol and too much this and too much that. Those are things we can avoid. Not trying to judge, but just realize that in a lot of ways, um, my mother's case was different. She didn't know she had an underlying mental health issue. But there are things health issues that occur in our lives that we can avoid by proper diet, proper exercise. Um, and, this year has been very compelling for me to realize, there's things even with my life. I said, Sean, you could fix this, you could fix that. Make sure you get back on the bandwagon of exercising like you were accustomed to when you were younger. Augment your exercise habits because you're getting older, the metabolism slows down, and it's like your old car. You break down, so you got to make sure, again, you stay on top of your health before your health gets on top of you. And there's so much knowledge that we have in this day and age in society, and so much knowledge and wisdom that we didn't know, and so many avenues have opened up in science and research that we have the tools to at least try live a better and healthier life. We just gotta, and I just try to avoid fast food and try to make home cooked meals. I'm trying to make sure I look at the amount of salt that I use with my cooking. I always make sure for the past, what I would say, decade, make sure I have a fresh green leafy vegetable or some kind of green vegetable on my plate every night, whether it's spinach and or broccoli. I just make sure I have something fresh and green, specifically those types of vegetables that I mentioned on my plate with whatever kind of meat that I have. And I try to just eat mostly chicken, fish, every now and then have red meat, because I really reprogrammed that. Just cut out the red meat, cut out going to fast food, which I was never a fast food junkie anyway. But I try to avoid that being my go-to, only in mitigating circumstances, and just eat a lot of chicken and a lot of fish, but especially chicken. That's really my go-to. Yep, and try to incorporate the vegetables along with the fruit. So I'm trying, and water. I'm telling you, water. I attribute my son Michael. He's the one who, because through his athleticism, put me on to the benefits of water. No matter where I go, if I'm out of town, in town, no matter where I stay, I make sure to have a bottled water or a big cup of water by my nightstand wherever I am. And even in the middle of the night, if I get up to use the restroom or wake up in the middle of the night, take a swig of the water. I drink lots of water daily. That's essential. It flushes you out. It has so many health benefits. And no offense to people who do tap. I don't do tap water. No, sir, no, ma'am. And I have filtered water filtration system that's part of the refrigerator. I don't do tap, because I can't trust it. Now, if it was filtered, something filtered, but I don't have filtered tap water. So yes, I get my water either bottled or take it from the refrigerator filtration system water. Yeah, but just drink water. Just drink good, fresh water. That's really, you get your skin going right, your nails, your hair. I know, like when I don't drink water, in the past when I didn't drink water like I was supposed to, my beautician, Yvonne, she would say, "Ooh, your hair's kind of dry, Charlene." I said, "Girl, I didn't drink water like I was supposed to. I didn't, So I make sure that going forward, I didn't have to hear her say, "Charlene, your hair's looking brittly, and because of that, I'm going to have to cut your ends." Or sometimes not even just cut my ends, but she would have to cut my hair down because it might have been so split or damaged from dry hair and this, that, and the third. And I didn't want my hair to grow out just to have to cut it just to keep it healthy. So water, I realized the hard way in these years, that's very essential for the skin to glow, for the nails to be strong and fortified, for the hair to be fortified and strong and healthy and shiny and not brittly. So just take your vitamins, but don't overdo your vitamins. Because my dad told me a story about a coworker of his in the hospital where he worked. The man had kidney failure because he took too many vitamins. Just take the essentials, like a multivitamin. Most doctors would tell you just need your multivitamin. Now, I know for my skin and hair and nails, I'd like to take cod liver too, and my multivitamin. Shh. But yeah, my doctor knows. But yeah, just a multivitamin, and for me, I just add cod liver and a probiotic. Yep, So yep. But you don't want to overtake this vitamin, take that vitamin. That can blow out your kidneys, people. Any good doctor will tell you. Try to exercise regularly. I'm on a kick to do something every day. Got to keep my body in motion. Okay? Yeah. Like that show by that fitness trainer, Gilad. I don't want to mispronounce his name, but I used to look at his workout show, I believe on ESPN when I was in New York, and do workouts in the basement of our home or wherever I could. But now that I'm in the South, been in the South for 26 years, I just try to walk around the community. Wherever I'm visiting or staying or in my own community, just walk X amount of, I will try to walk, and at this point, at least 70 minutes a day. It used to be 45, 50, but now I try to do at least 70, 75 minutes a day. And I try to go, I have a gym membership. Now that I'm of a certain age, I try to go and lift weights, do elliptical, bicycling, cycling. I'm trying. Like I said, my weight goes up, it goes down, but I got to make sure going forward, we just want to keep it stable. Keep it low. And another thing with health is wealth, stress. People can stress you out. Life can stress you out. Jobs can stress you out. Try to find ways to lessen your stress, even if it means you got to separate yourself from certain people. Maybe if you got to separate yourself or find another job that's not driving you crazy, or just programming your mind to not overreact or OD on stressful situations, scenarios. The mind is very powerful. Try to program your mind and try to be as positive as possible, because the mind does have a lot of control over that body. And if your mind is not right and negative and toxic, that can affect your health, cause heart attack, stroke, all these other health issues that most of us don't even realize. So that's just my advice to you all on that. Well, that's it for now. Thank you for listening. Make sure to like, share my podcast. And until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay beautiful and happy. Bye.